What's up, everybody? We are back with another Wire Media interview. This interview here was with director Tevin Tavares. He's worked with the likes of Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook on his Why Not documentary. Even worked with A Boogie and Rex Life Raj as well too. But for this particular interview, I interviewed him about a docuseries that he worked on called Top Class with Sierra Canyon. This series followed Sierra Canyon for 2 seasons as they traveled all around the world. Shout out to Tevin and all his productions that he has coming up on the way. And yeah, hope you enjoy the video. First off, man, I just want to say congratulations on season 2.
I appreciate it, bro. On the real, man. It's a blessing to be able to do 2 seasons in 1 year.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed season 1, so yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
So first off, I guess I want to ask you, what were the challenges of shooting season 2 compared to season 1, since we were coming out of a COVID year, and in season 1, the players were traveling pretty much all over the world.
Man, it was different. You go from traveling the country and going state to state and being on planes every week to, you're just at Sierra Canyon. I think the boys probably had maybe 1 away game throughout the whole time. So throughout the whole time, you're not only dealing with COVID protocols, but you're also dealing with the fact that, there's no change of scenery. You kind of live, breathe, and eat at Sierra Canyon. And I think that, obviously you have to, there's a whole pandemic going on. So you have to take COVID protocols. You have to take tests every time before you enter the gym. There's many things that you have to deal with, but at the end of the day, I think that's the tool of being a professional is rain or shine, virus or not, you still have to be a professional and get the job done and tell the best story. So, even though we dealt with, those certain difficulties of, not only battling a pandemic, but, and also being, stuck in the same location. I think that's the thing that made us as a team of filmmakers get closer and tell the best stories, because not only are, we're dealing with this, but the team is dealing with this and the world is dealing with this now,
Yeah. And did you sense like any added pressure from the players since they were coming off the COVID year and, they have such high expectations at Sierra Canyon?
Yeah, man. I mean, bro, you look at Sierra Canyon, like, they're that last year was kind of like a rock star year for them, So it's like, how do you go from traveling around the country and you're having articles and everybody's talking about you to now you're just playing league games, you're not even playing against your own competition, So I think that's one thing that they had to constantly battle was, we have to bring our A game no matter what, because people are still coming for our heads. People think, just because we lost some of our best players that everybody could beat us, and I think that target is even bigger on your back because they feel like, it's like you're a wounded animal. Like, now it's like you're in the jungle and they could tell like, oh, you're not at the top of your game. So let me go ahead and while I can go for the kill. And I feel like you could sense that in every single team that they played against this season was, we feel like you're a wounded animal and we're going to come for you every single night, so, but they fought back from it. But that's the thing why I enjoy the season so much is you can tell that there's that tension, not only between themselves in the locker room, but you can kind of tell that every team is coming after them and they want to beat them. But sometimes, the other team came up, in the end. So they learned from it. And I think it's a beautiful watch because even though it's painful to watch them go through those losses, you're watching as a viewer, as an audience member, you're watching these boys become men by the end of the series,
And like during the 2019 season, they had true leaders such as Brandon Boston or Zaire Williams. Without giving away the entire season, how much growth have you seen? What did you see from being around Amari Bailey and Shai Odom?
Yeah, I watched Amari become almost like the D Wade. Remember when D Wade played in for the Heat that year where he had to take, he fell down 7 times, get up 8. I watched Amari take such an emotional toll on his body because this is a kid who legit was kind of forced into becoming a leader. There was no seniors on the team. This was a person like Shai Odom, who was a sophomore last year. It's his second year. These are kids who are still enjoying their junior years of high school, and now they have the task of leading a team of newcomers, after such a, in the midst of a pandemic. and sometimes, that made them mature, that made them become a young man, you know what I mean? Like, you have that pressure. Now I have to lead a team. I go from playing with two future, NBA stars to now, it's on me now. And sometimes I saw them, they had to battle that and with Coach Andre, but Coach Andre held that over their head. So now when they're seniors, now they're legit leaders of the team. Last year they had their growing pains, but I loved watching Amari and Shai to who they are now, because everybody has to go through those growing pains when it comes to being a leader. Sometimes, you have to have that tough task on your back to lead a team. And sometimes it's hard to do, but, at the end of the day, you learn, you step it up. And at the end of the day, you become the best man that you can, and you lead a team to victory.
While Sierra Canyon has become like a powerhouse in basketball, not just on the West Coast, but the entire country, and with them having Amari be one of the top players in the country, when you look at somebody like Bronny, how would you say he's handled the pressure of being at a powerhouse school like Sierra Canyon and also dealing with the obvious pressures of his dad being LeBron James?
I think Bronny James is probably one of the most humble kids that I've ever met. I think that Bronny is a phenomenal kid. I think he's a student of the game. He's super respectful. And I think he deals with the pressure phenomenally. You wouldn't guess that, he's LeBron James' son. You would just guess that legit, he's just a great kid, and I think that when you have somebody like Bronny, who's just a great kid and he's a great leader, you just want to be around him. His energy is contagious, because you could tell he's just there to have a good time. I watched Bronny. He dealt with injuries throughout the whole season, but I watched him be a leader. I watched him be on the sideline, just like his dad, clapping on his teammates, trying to talk to the referee. He gets that. It's in his DNA, and I think that, he comes from a great family, his mom and his dad. And I think that Bronny's, he's an outstanding young man, even though he dealt with the injuries that he did have, he was always a great teammate. And I think that's always what matters, is you're always going to be a great teammate. And you hear LeBron talk about in the media how great of a teammate he is and how much he puts that pressure on him to be a great teammate. And I have nothing but great things to say about that kid. He's a phenomenal kid. And like I said, every time I see him, he's like, "What's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's up?" Like, it's always all love, bro. I could be in there fixing the camera, I could be in there talking. He's always going to stop and say, "Yo, what's good?" You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's all about trust with these kids,
Sticking with, LeBron, what was it like, having LeBron and Maverick Carter, executive produce this? Like, what was it like working with the entire uninterrupted team once again?
It was phenomenal. You look at, I look at Bron and I look at Maverick and I look at Devin and Jamal and Camille and Josh Kahn. And, I think that, ever since I was I want to say early, like 2024, I want to say is when I first got my first season here. Like, the fact that they trusted me as a young filmmaker, this was my first big project, so they kind of gave me the keys to it and was like, "Hey, we want to work with you on this." And this, unfortunately, was what elevated my career and took me to a different way. So, I have nothing for love for Spring Hill, because they gave me my first opportunity at becoming the filmmaker that I want to be, and that I want to continue to be going forward by being able to tell this phenomenal story.
What is it that sticks out about this project compared to any other project that you've done so far?
Man, I think that it allows me to bring the youthful energy of these kids and from the music that they listen to, but I think it also allows me to put that cinematic spin and that cinematic experience that I want to bring people through their homes, whether this is coming out on IMDb TV, Amazon Prime. I think that before I've done, music videos and short docs, but this allows me to create a full-blown experience, and create something that people could watch, maybe not in the movie theaters, but at the sense of their home. And I think that this what makes a difference, because I could bring that youthful cinematic style where it feels like, you're watching the music video. It brings it to people's homes, but it brings it where it's like 30-minute episodes instead of a 3-minute music video, and I think that this has just helped me get to that next step of my filmmaking journey. I just want to create something that relates to the kids, and I think what I pride myself on is, I want the next generation, the 15 to 16-year-olds, to be like, man, Tevin's my favorite director because I saw Top Class. You know what I mean? So, there's Spielbergs, there's the Kuglers, but I think for me now, I'm trying to reach the 10-year-olds to the 17-year-olds. We're like, nah, like we grew up watching Tevin with Top Class, and now like we're like, we're gonna pack out the movie theater because you built that loyalty. So I think for me, like I want to make the kids happy. If the kids are proud and the kids are watching it, the kids are, I check Twitter, I see what the kids are saying. So as long as the kids are happy with this, and that's my goal, is to make something that not only the kids can relate to, but and from the music to the color to the style, but also kids are like, kids have feelings as well, where they're like, dang, I felt that episode when Amari was going at it with Coach Dreyer. I felt that episode when Bronny came back from injury. So it's just like, to me, it's something where it's kid friendly, where the kids in high school and middle school can watch this because their favorite player might be Bronny James, and they're like, yo, I watch this series, every single day, So that's all I want to create, is experiences for not only adults but the kids that could watch something and be inspired by.
How important is it for you, covering a team from the state of California and, making sure that you not only represent like the state of California, but represent Sierra Canyon and all of that, all the glory that school has brought to the state?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, as much as it's about Sierra Canyon and California, I think at the end of the day, these are young Black men, and I think that that's the most important thing, is legit. Like, I want people to look at these kids, as, these are young Black men that we're watching grow up, and I think that that's important, that kids all over, young Black men all over the country, are able to see and watch these kids as they grow up and as they go through trials and tribulations similar to everybody else. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing. Is, I know Sierra Canyon is a great school. I know the state of California, but at the end of the day, these are young Black boys, and they're becoming men. And I think that's the thing where I want to represent, where it's like, nah, you don't have to see, these headlines of, Black men doing stuff. It's like, these kids are out here just playing basketball, having fun, So I think that's the biggest thing, and just showing that they go through, trials and tribulations as well. That's relatable to all of us.
After getting to know the players, like what's something about the players that might surprise the viewers that we might not necessarily see within the series?
Bro, they're goofballs, bro. Bro, like, from Amari eating Skittles on the sideline to to Bronny dancing and to Shy, these kids they're funny as hell. These kids are kids at the end of the day, but people see these kids and they're like, oh man, like that's Amari Bailey, or that's Bronny James, or that's Shy Odom, or that's Zaire Wade, or BJ Boston. Like, at the end of the day, like, these are kids that we like, we roast on each other. You know what I mean? Like, me and Amari have had conversations where we'll be talking about everything from UCLA to, he was like at a little house party. I'm like, man, bro, I remember when I was a senior in high school and, I was going through some similar things, bro. Like, and we have real conversations, that's like I said, it's kind of like it's an older brother relationship with these kids. You know what I mean? So that's the fun thing about it, is, man, I got nothing but love for these kids, man. And at the end of the day, they're still kids, but they're kids getting, to be young men. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One last question for you. Is there any chance that we will get a season 3?
I mean, sure. Yeah, I can't even answer that now, until things are solidified. But yeah, I mean, I would hope so. I think that this has been a great series, and I think it's something that people now, we've adapted a fan base, and when you have a fan base, you got to get the fans what they need, you got to get the kids what they need, and that's as much as I got to say about it.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate the time. I'm really looking forward to season 2 coming out on Friday. Like I said, I really enjoyed season 1, so I'm super excited. It was very relatable for me. So
I appreciate it, man. Let me know what you think too, man. Hopefully you like it.
I definitely will. Thank you.
I appreciate it.